the village that sacrificed its own. The Ashworth cult conspiracy. In 1965, an entire family vanished from their picture-perfect cottage in the Yorkshire village of Ashworth. The police found no signs of struggle. Their wallets were left behind. Their dinner dishes were clean and put away. It was as if the Higgins family had simply dissolved into the autumn air. The case would have gone cold if not for what investigators discovered 3 months later. Hidden in a sealed room beneath the town church. The family's personal belongings, laid out like offerings on an ancient altar, and a journal. The final entry was dated 2 weeks after they were officially declared missing. For nearly 60 years, the Church of England has refused to comment. The cottage remains abandoned. And tonight, for the first time, we break the silence of the only surviving witness to reveal the truth. This is not a story of a simple disappearance. This is the story of a conspiracy of silence that turned a peaceful village into a hunting ground for over 3 decades. Ashworth, 1965. A postcard-perfect village in the Yorkshire Dales, where everyone knew everyone and nothing ever happened. At its heart stood St. Mary's Church, a Norman giant whose shadow fell over the community. The Higgins family were pillars of this community. Thomas, the postmaster. Eleanor, his wife, a woman fascinated by local history and folklore. Their 2 children. That autumn, a strange fog clung to the village. The church bells began to sound different, deeper, almost mournful. It was into this atmosphere that the village reverend, Harold Whitmore, offered salvation. He ran the Ashworth Historical Preservation Society, a group dedicated to studying local traditions. It sounded academic, innocent. Eleanor Higgins was a keen member. But this was no book club. Under Whitmore's guidance, their research turned to practice. Experiential participation, he called it. They began performing rituals in a hidden chamber beneath St. Mary's. A room Whitmore claimed connected them to spiritual practices centuries older than the church itself. He preyed on Eleanor's intellect, her curiosity, her desire to feel special. He convinced her that modern Christianity had lost its way, that these old ways held a deeper truth. A truth her family was now chosen to help restore. The changes in the Higgins family were subtle at first, then undeniable. Eleanor grew secretive, gathering strange herbs. The children began drawing disturbing images of robed figures around an altar. Thomas, desperate, went to the local doctor. Edmund Curran, other member of the society, complaining of a feeling of impending doom. He spoke of ancient obligations and ceremonies that can't be stopped. On October 31, 1965, they were seen for the last time entering their cottage. That night, a neighbor witnessed a procession of robed figures carrying candles into the churchyard. She heard chanting, children's voices, and then they vanished into the side of the church. The investigation hit a wall. The village closed ranks. It was Sergeant Robert Henley, an outsider cop, who refused to let it go. He noticed architectural inconsistencies in the church. A wall that was too thick. Behind the altar, he found loose stones. Behind them, a passage led down into the earth. What he found in the chamber below would rewrite the history of Ashworth forever. An ancient black stone altar. Stains on its surface, and arranged around it like sacred relics. Eleanor's wedding ring, Thomas's pocket watch, the children's toys, and the journals. Dozens of them. The most recent was Eleanor's, detailing her transformation from curious historian to fanatical believer. Ecstatic that her family had been chosen. But the most damning journal was hidden beneath the floor. It wasn't just one journal. It was a ledger of death, dating back to the 1920s. The journals revealed a conspiracy spanning decades. Reverend Whitmore wasn't an innovator, he was an heir. He had continued the work of his predecessor, Father Blackwood. Their historical society was a predatory system designed to identify, isolate, and psychologically break down entire families. The harvest ceremony wasn't a metaphor. It was a ritual murder. They selected families with no outside connections, manipulated them into believing they were participating in a spiritual transcendence, and then killed them. Their assets were absorbed by the group. Their homes were relit. Their disappearances were explained away as sudden moves. The Higgins family was just the latest in a line of at least 17 families, 63 people murdered over 35 years. Their remains were found in caves beneath the church. The trial exposed a village rotting from the inside out. The doctor, the librarian, the herbalist, all complicit. They used social pressure, economic threats, and a warped ideology to maintain a conspiracy of silence that allowed them to sacrificed their neighbors for a perverted concept of community protection. Ashworth is a ghost town now. The church was demolished, the chamber sealed with concrete, but the question remains, how could this happen not in some distant, troubled land, but in the heart of the English countryside? The answer is in the journals. The slow, patient corruption of ordinary people, and the terrifying power of a lie told by someone in a collar. This is the story of how a monster didn't come to a village. The monster was the village.